here's the plot for Wreck-It Ralph. We have Ralph, meant to be known as Wreck-It Ralph, and then we have Felix, meant to be known as Fix-It Felix Jr. And they like to do something for doing their own works in every 24/7 at Litwax Arcade, and then they decide when Wreck-It Ralph, who meet all the other bad guys at the Bad Guy Council, in a light up with a Pac-Man maze, and then when Wreck-It Ralph says that Ralph doesn't want to be a bad guy, he wants to be turned a good guy, who wants to go find a way into the hero's duty and bring the hero's duty medal. And then suddenly happens is when crashing things all over the crash landing into Sugar Rush. And then which suddenly happens is when Wreck-It Ralph meets Vanellope von Schweetz. And then she wants to learn to race about Vanellope because Vanellope von Schweetz wants to race, but she can't. She has glitches and everything is such. And then King Candy wants to talk about Wreck-It Ralph, what happened about. Because the Vanellope doesn't want to use the race. But what suddenly happens is when Vanellope and Wreck-It Ralph want to build their own carts. And then suddenly happens is they give us a demonstrate about the Mentos and Diet Coke volcano thing. And then they like to race and for the test. And then the test is an A+ for Vanellope von Schweetz. And then suddenly happens is when Ralph wants to talk King Candy about the question, when King Candy says Vanellope don't want to race anymore because she has too many glitches. And then Ralph wants supposed to lie because he breaks the Vanellope's new cart. And then when Ralph go back to Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade cabinet, and then suddenly happens is when Fix-It Felix Jr. says, "Where's Ralph?" And it's out for her, and they threw over to the battle, and then it won't give up. And then suddenly happens is when Wreck-It Ralph and Fix-It Felix wants to save the world and fix Vanellope's cart. And then which suddenly happens is she liked to race with competing with King Candy, also known as Turbo Man. And which suddenly happens is she has glitch powers. It goes 20% times faster than it was. And then suddenly happens is when King Candy / Turbo Man can be a villain with some biggest side bug of all. And then suddenly happens is when Wreck-It Ralph never gives up, and then they beats King Candy, also known as Turbo Man, and with a Diet Mentos and Diet Coke and Mentos to put poosh in a volcano thing, and then King Candy and Turbo Man, meant to be known as King Candy / Turbo Man, has been defeated into pieces, and they leave to the side bugs in our home planet, just like how was Hero's Duty was. And then Vanellope won the race, and they saved the race. And then Vanellope turned into a princess, and then suddenly happens is when Vanellope thanks to Ralph, and then they can come back and have a good times when Ralph is coming back to Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade cabinet. And then Vanellope loves to race, and Vanellope's return, and they save the day. That's pretty much the plot. What do I heard of that? Ah, yes, it's awesome. I just saw in 3D on November 3rd, 2012. It was awesome. It aged well. So, this is by out the best animated feature of 2012. I agree with Inside Out Fan 2001 that he said Wreck-It Ralph is one of the best films of 2012. And another thing for Inside Out Fan 2001 says Wreck-It Ralph is way better than Skyfall. Even though, if I'm going to respect his opinion on Skyfall, I might watch Skyfall online when it's on networks or such. So, or if I might watch Skyfall on this channel, then decide to become. Well, let's get started. The animation, really cool. The story, very awesome. And the characters, we got Wreck-It Ralph, the main character. He's awesome. And here we have Fix-It Felix Jr., which is another main character. He's awesome, played by Jack McBrayer, which is the same cast who played Clumsy Smurf from Smurfs The Lost Village, and Yonder from Wander Over Yonder. And here we have Calhoun, aka Dynamite Gal, which is another main character. She's awesome and incredible. She played Jane Lynch, which is the same cast who played the additional characters from Alvin and the Chipmunks and in additional voices from Ugly Dolls 2019. And here we have Vanellope von Schweetz, which is another main character. She's cute, I like her. And yes. And here we have King Candy / Turbo Man, who played by Alan Tudyk, which is the same cast who played right before Mr. Knows More from Ralph Breaks the Internet, 6 years before that, and including King Butterfly, aka River from Star vs. the Force Evil, and including Ludo. And yet, including the video game cameos like Sonic, Bowser from Super Mario, some Street Fighter guys, and everywhere for the video game cameos. All the other characters and the video game cameos are awesome for a Walt Disney animated feature, because 3 decades after Tron came out. As for negatives, none. Overall, it gets a 10 out of 10. Amazing, brilliant masterpiece. So, hope you all enjoy for my Wreck-It Ralph film review. Leading up to Frozen 2, I might do a review for tomorrow is the first Frozen. Yeah, I might review on the first Frozen. So, hope you all enjoy, and goodbye.